Okay, I think we're going to go live on the group. I was thinking I was already live. I am indeed live. Okay, so for those of you here in the Facebook group, I just started on Instagram already thinking I was live. So, welcome to our training, Make Money While Taking the Summer Off. And just so you know you're in the right place, I want to share with you who this is for. So, this is for you, you're in the right place. Obviously, it's a good idea to know that you're in the right place. If you are a service based entrepreneur, that means a coach, a healer, a yoga teacher, a creative, you could be a singer, a musician, whoever you might be. Excuse me, my throat is a little foggy today. And of course, it's for you if you would love to take the summer off. And this is my third summer consecutively that I have taken off. This version of my business, this is my coaching, my business coaching business, business and wellness, is 3 years old. This is my actual, yeah, this is actually my third year. So I started this business in October 2019, and I've been in the coaching industry for 15 years. But I actually had a partnership with a Canadian company for a number of years, and I quit that in July 2019 to start my own version of my own business, Step Into Your Stardom, and with my own brand, The Diva, because I'm actually a diva. I'm also a professional singer and have been doing this for 23 years, but I've lived this way, I've lived in this diva way for a very long time. So what we're really going to tap into here in this training, and I'm going to probably do some more trainings on this too, because I actually realized as I was doing the content for this that there's a lot more that I can give you. So bear with me, and I'll share a bit more on that in a moment. But yeah, being a diva, it's, I've spent my whole life on tour. I've spent my life um, traveling. I've spent my life being on stages, having to take care of my health, having to take care of how I look, having to take care of my voice. And the thing about a diva is we have this glow about us, right? So if you think about any diva that you know, whether that's an actress or a singer, and it could be a man either, there's a certain glow to a diva or a divo that is very attractive to people. And the diva does not get that glow from lugging in all the gear onto the stage or selling the tickets on the corner or doing all the marketing. Excuse me, sorry. Sorry for all the coughing today. It's so early for me this morning. I don't normally do live streams at this hour. But the diva is the person who's taking care of herself. And I have this analogy that the diva sits in the back seat of the limousine while the driver of life takes her to her desired destination. So, in other words, you get to decide what it is you want to create in your life. But the how you get there is really about you sitting back and enjoying the pleasures, enjoying the tastes, the sounds, the feels, everything around you, the sights, and, being in your pleasures, taking care of yourself. And when you're doing that, you're very, very present. And then that's when you get great ideas. That's when you spot more opportunities. And this is where you become very magnetic to people. You really are in this kind of different state that most people are in, because most people are in hustle mode, they're in rush, rush, hurry, hurry mode. And the diva really is that person who's really about sitting back, taking care of themselves. And as a result of that, she walks onto the stage, she opens her mouth and sings, and you end up with a bunch of people just absolutely falling in love with you. Well, because I've been a singer all of my life, and I've been this way all of my life. When I started in the coaching industry 15 years ago and in business, I started to realize that business was very masculine. And there's no offense to men, okay? Because if you're a man, it's probably easier to do it this way. But it's a very masculine way of doing things. It's a very hustle way of doing things. It's a very fast way of doing things. And our lives and our worlds that we have, that we're in now, are very fast and hustly. And it doesn't honor our well-being. It doesn't honor our health. It doesn't allow us to glow from the inside out. We think it's all about the marketing. We think it's all about how many times we post on Instagram and Facebook every day. We think it's all about having the perfect copy or the perfect photographs. But really, when you are really working more on your glow, on your inner glow. So that might be this summer spending all your time on the beach working on your tan, okay, for example. Or it might be that you're a mother or a father and you want to spend your summer with your children and be able to take summers off so that you're not, running around trying to work with your kids around or trying to get babysitters or whatever. It might be that you want to travel this summer and every summer, right? It might be that you want to, I don't know, just take up surfing or something, like do something different. But for whatever reason, if you would like to take summers off, this is what I'm going to share with you in these trainings. So as I said, I was doing the work around this training and I realized there's a lot more in it. So what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to share the first part with you today on this training. And if you like it, let me know in the comments and I will do another one this week. I might even do 2 more for you. All right. So let me know in the comments if you would like that. I'll ask you again at the end. So I'll give you an opportunity first to actually experience some of it. Okay. So let me know if you're able to hear me or see me or whatever, because I'd like to make sure that I actually have people watching. So do actually comment or say hi if you're watching live. And the important thing to understand about these trainings or this training series that I'm going to do for you is it's going to help you on 2 levels. It's going to help you on a practical level. So we're going to look at how we can simplify and declutter your life and your business model, mostly your business model, right? So that we can create some space. This facilitates the deeper work, which is really about just pleasure, right? About spending your time on the beach, doing all the fun stuff, traveling, all the things that you want to do in summer. And you might think that that's like taking time off your business. But believe me, if you're a coach, if you're a healer, if you are your business, it's actually the best thing that you can do. This is the actual thing that is going to just draw people to you, that is going to make you magnetic, give you that diva glow, right? So during the course of these trainings, which are now become a few trainings, we're going to look at decluttering all your marketing, your long sales calls, your processes, your social media sharing, your lead magnet creation, your website tweaking, your quote posting, your cold messaging, all that stuff that you're doing now. We're going to simplify the heck out of that. I'm going to share with you that you can do that. And I'm going to give you some examples from my own business and from those of my clients to help you to do that. And I think that's probably as far as we're going to get today. And then during the week, as I said, I will do another training or maybe 2 if it needs it. And we're going to look at your pleasures, because I know that when I say to people, look, just spend your life in pleasure, the immediate reaction is, oh my God, no, I can't, because I've got to be online every day. I've got to be doing my business every day. I've got to be in front of my computer every day. How can I just go off and spend summer in pleasure and still make money? Well, as I said already, you can. And I hope by the end of these trainings, you will actually get more of a sense of how you can do that. And also, if you've been following me anywhere on Instagram or Facebook, you'll see that that's exactly what I do. And I'm down to working, 1 day a week. And I'll share a bit more on me in a moment. So we're going to get into discovering your deepest pleasures. And then we're also going to look at what is at the core of your pleasures, because pleasures can change. Anything external can change. So I'm all about looking at the internal, what it is that lights you up and makes you glow. It's all about the glow around here, okay? And then we're also going to look at drawing in your clients, the Diva Glow. We're going to look at exactly what that Diva Glow is, or Devo Glow. Men are welcome here too, right? That glow, being in the higher vibration. And you're actually going to get there by doing less marketing and not having to be perfect, not having to have perfect photos, perfect copy, all of those kind of things. You can actually show up messy AF with your divinely inspired ideas, and those kind of ideas, those kind of things that you might share that come from when you're out watering the plants or you're taking a shower, bathroom ideas, right? We all have had those, right? Or when you're just, hanging out the laundry or just taking a nice walk on the beach or whatever you love to do. Those kind of divinely inspired ideas are the kind of things that when you share them with the world, people's ears pick up. They are authentic, they are aligned, they are wisdom inspired, and they are fresh new thinking that come from life force whose only purpose is to create. So this is the support. You are supported by this divine life force. This is why we call this diva, divine, right? Intuitive, vibrating high and abundant, right? And of course, then I'm also going to share with you at the core, the ethos of everything I do really is one mindset shift. It's really one little shift in perspective that you will create a habit in that will replace all the inner work. So all the outer work, all the marketing, the sales, all the stuff you think you need to do, we're going to look at today, and we're going to completely declutter all of that for you. And then we're also going to look at the inner work. You don't need to do all of the meditations, affirmations, self-help books, therapy, right? All of those things. You can stop self-sabotaging yourself. You can stop being discouraged. You can stop comparing yourself to others within your industry, all through one mindset shift. And it's not even a mindset shift, it's one shift in perspective. So I will be sharing a little on that later as well, okay? And do stay tuned to the end because I have some wonderful, sizzling hot offers for you as we go through these trainings as well, which are very unique to me because I don't normally do any work whatsoever in the summertime, but I am actually opening a very limited number of spaces for you this summer. And watch, if you're thinking, well, she's selling, how can we make money by taking summer off, and she's not taking summer off herself. Stay tuned because you'll understand exactly how I'm going to take summer off at the same time. All right. So if you don't know me, I'm going to share a quick little, a little bio about myself, I guess. My name is Nikki Shearer Byrne. I'm a real life diva. I have been a professional singer for 23 years or more. I mean, I was literally born a diva anyway. And I have been in the coaching industry for 15 years. So 15 years in the coaching industry. My superpower is simplifying everything, decluttering everything. I'm a total minimalist. I like to, upcycle things. I like to, when I get new clothes, I throw the other ones away, or I don't throw them away, I give them away, or I upcycle them, I give them to friends, whatever. I like to keep things completely minimal. I don't have a lot of things around. I like to be able to move and be free. And so the same goes for my business, because I think this came from me being on tour for many, many, many years. I used to get up every single Friday and either get on a plane or a bus or a train or something. And I had to live from a suitcase for a very long time in my life. And so I got very, very good at doing things in a very, very simple way. And also I just find that keeping things very simple means my mind is less cluttered too. So decluttering our homes, decluttering our businesses, decluttering everything around us also declutters the mind. And so we're not constantly thinking of things we got to do, things we got to buy, things we got to get, things, all of the things in work we've got to do. So when I wake up every morning, very often what I find happens, because I get great sleep, because I'm very relaxed most of the time, and I get a good idea. And, I get up, I bring my daughter to school. I usually take her to school on a bicycle, so I get my exercise in. I often go for a nice cappuccino somewhere, and I might get a little idea. And if I do, I will write a post, or I will, write something down for later that I might want to do. And then I might go for a walk on the beach. And that's pretty much my day. And sometimes I'll take some videos. Sometimes I might make a little reel. That's a little bit of fun. But apart from that, I'm not doing tons of marketing. This is about my third training series, maybe second. Actually, it's my second training series this year. And that's it, so I don't do like tons of webinars, tons of training series. And so I have created a life for myself. I'm from Ireland with my daughter. I'm a single mom. She's 5. Her name is Stella. And I moved to the island of Fuerteventura, which is a subtropical island in the Canary Islands belonging to Spain. I live on a house on Millionaire's Row, but I'm not a millionaire, okay? But I've managed to just manifest this perfect house in a beautiful complex with palm trees and grass and a swimming pool right across the street from the beach. Just a few minutes from the town. It's in a perfect location, 1 kilometer away from the school. I couldn't complain. I couldn't ask for anything more. And I work usually, and this is not during the summer, but usually I work 1 to 1.5 days a week. So I work my entire business in those times. And even at that, it's like spaced out, okay? And when I say work, I mean servicing my clients. I only do what I love in my business, and I'm going to share that with you probably on one of the other trainings coming up. I'm going to share with you all about my pleasure process on how you can turn your business into, that you only do things that you love in your business and nothing more, right? And what I find is I spend all of my time doing things I love doing, like going to the beach. I love bodyboarding. I really go with the flow. I don't tend to plan an awful lot. I tend to just wake up in the morning and see where the day takes me, which I really love being able to do. It's such a beautiful way to live. And most millionaires would kill to live like this, but you don't actually have to be a millionaire to live this way, right? And so by being in my pleasures all the time, what it does is it keeps me glowing, right? And so when you're doing that, it keeps you glowing, and it means that you don't need to be doing so much sales, so much marketing. We think it's all about how much we show up, but it's more about the quality, more about the vibe you have when you do show up. That is the thing. And I've been in this industry 15 years, and not only myself, but my clients as well tell me that a lot of the time people hire them, and I'm talking about handing over thousands of dollars or euro. They hire them not because of their qualifications, or not because of how many calls they get on their programs, or not because of how much resources they're given, but because somebody will say to them, I liked your vibe, or I was attracted to your energy. So that is actually a very common thing I hear over and over again. And I'm just going to refresh the comments here for a second. So if anybody is watching, do say hi. And welcome everyone who's here. By the way, I'm going to keep the replay up for a few days, for like 72 hours or so. So if you want to watch the replay, and then you can come back to me, because I know this is not the perfect time for a lot of people, especially if you're in the States, right? So the ethos behind this Diva Glow is your vibe. All right, it's when you glow, you're naturally attractive to people, and you don't need to do all of this work that you think you need to do. Marketing is a relatively new thing, right? So really what we want to look at is what you enjoy doing, what you love doing, maximizing and maintaining what's great in your business, what's working, what you enjoy, what makes you glow, and throwing the rest away. Now that can be really hard. That's the hardest part for a lot of people, because we're very attached to the fact that it looks like it's the marketing that's keeping the business going, because that's what we've been taught. That's what the whole industry is telling us, right? But I'm an advocate for your own wisdom, and your own wisdom knows what makes you glow. And you know how you know what it is? It's just a feeling. You just feel good. You feel good. This feels good. This doesn't feel good. This feels right. This doesn't feel right. So I encourage you to follow the feeling, right? So let's get started with today's content. And I won't do an introduction every single day that we do these trainings. I think that would be a waste of time, really. So you can all go back and look at this one, and I'll get straight into the content for the next couple of trainings that we do if we need more than one. Okay, so let's look at this first section, which is the Diva Declutter, right? So here's the thing: your business model, your marketing, your sales processes, all of that is very likely too complicated. I have met a lot of coaches, a lot of service providers, a lot of healers, a lot of yoga teachers, a lot of everybody who's offering services. And it is so complicated. So many people have come to me where they've done trainings on how to bring their business, brick and mortar business, online, especially around the pandemic time where everybody needed that. And they arrived to me completely burnt out, completely stressed out, really upset that they'd invested thousands of dollars in something, and they just ended up sitting in front of their computer all day. And here's the thing: you're not a marketer, right? You didn't sign up to be a marketer or sit in front of a computer all day long. You want to help people, right? But how much time are you actually spending helping people versus marketing, sales, tech, all of that stuff? So if you're watching this, type into the comments the ratio: marketing and sales versus actually helping people. Is it 50-50? Is it 20-80? Is it 30-70? So marketing and sales. Are you spending more time on your marketing and sales and tech and all of that kind of stuff than actually helping people? And if you are, then you better listen up, because It should be that you are spending maybe 20% or 10% even, or maybe even no percent of your time, if you can get there, right? You will, of your time doing marketing, sales, and all of that kind of stuff versus actually helping people. I've gotten it down to that I'm 100% of the time helping people. I'm helping you right now, right? So we're going to look at exactly what you love, right? So here are some ways that I'm going to share with you how you can take summer off and still make money, right? So the number one thing is when we look at your business, your model, right? What does your business model look like? Do you have tons of offers? Are you putting out new offers every single month? Are your offers all sort of different things that are not together? Do you have a signature process or a signature system, right? If you don't, this is a really important thing to have. So if you're, for example, you're working one-on-one with people, you'll probably find that there's some things that you're doing over and over and over again with every person, right? And those are what you call your signature system, right? So there might be something like you look at people and you might hear people calling it like the 4 pillars of marketing, right? Or the triangle of love, or whatever it might be. It sounds like a strange thing for love, but but there's all of these kind of things, or the 3-step system of a perfect marriage, right? I obviously work with a lot of love coaches, so that's what you call a signature system. And when you have a signature system, you want to make sure that your signature system is running all the way through all of your offers, right? And so also, I advise you strongly that you don't have tons of offers, that you have 1 or 2 offers. Very often, one primary offer, like that's your lead offer, and then maybe like a lower offer, like a secondary offer. And that can be for people who are not as far along in their journey. And it can also be, or a less of an investment, a stepstone for people who are not financially ready to go into your full offer, right? And not always financial, but it can also be so that people can get a taste or a feel of what it's like to work with you before they make a bigger commitment to working with you for a longer term engagement, right? When you've got really simple offers like that, what that does is it means that all of your marketing, and when I say marketing, I mean your visibility, is aligned to that signature system. So everything that you speak about when you go online is about that. So the Diva Glow, in case you didn't notice yet, is my signature system, right? Divitude is the attitude of the diva, is all about my signature system. It's all about pleasure. It's all about putting pleasure first. It's all about simplifying your structure and your business model and the things you're doing in your business to facilitate pleasure so that you can be more present and connected to the divine for your divinely inspired ideas. And so that it continues to keep you glowing and that you attract people from that glow and you don't need as much marketing. That's my entire signature system. In one moment while I take a drink. Now, that doesn't mean that that's the only thing I teach people or the only thing I help people with, because all sorts of stuff comes up, especially when you're working one-on-one. And, I get into little sort of niches like money and relationships and, creating evergreen courses and all of those little things too. And I can talk about all of that stuff when I'm being visible, but I need to bring it back always to the reason why I'm doing it. And why is it so important to do that? Well, it's important to keep that signature system flowing because, first of all, everyone will know what it is you're talking about every single time you show up, right? They'll know that, she's the diva lady. She's the lady who's all about pleasure, right? Rather than, what's she talking about now? She's talking about money over here. Now she's talking about relationships. What is she? Is she a relationship coach? Is she a money coach? Is she just some girl that has spare time and she's just wasting it on Instagram or on Facebook? But you become known as an expert in one thing. So I have this program called The Power of One, and it is my simplified, condensed marketing or visibility principles that help people to simplify everything down to one offer, one message, one of everything. And when you simplify everything down to one, it makes everything so much easier, right? So keep it really simple. Align your offers with your visibility, with your messaging. Whatever you're sharing in your messaging needs to be like that. So the cool thing about this is you can be doing anything, right? You might have seen my stories and I'm cooking spaghetti or something, right? And then I actually come back to how, I don't know, divas only eat like beautiful Italian food because they're divas or something. I don't know. I haven't said that, but but it's like bringing it back to always the signature system, the signature brand, the archetype. And then people know who you are. People know what you're about every time, rather than it being all scattered and higgledy-piggledy and here and there and everywhere. So that's really important, and that will really keep everything much more simple for you. The second thing is, when you have your offers, okay, you want to make sure that you price them accordingly, right? And that you structure them to leverage your time. So I'm going to give you some information on both of those things, right? And I know pricing can be a really big thing for people. So structuring your offers to leverage your time. I'm going to give you some examples of how you can do that. So you can have a group program or a hybrid program, so you can actually bring more people on board. And again, this goes back to the signature system. When you have a signature system, I mean, I have had clients that have been coaching one-on-one for years, and they're like, how can I make a group? Because everyone I coach is a different thing. I'm doing a different thing with them, right? But the thing is, when you start to look at what you do, you're probably doing the same things, even if it's only at the very start, but you're probably doing the same things. There's something in the ethos of what you're doing with every single client. That's your signature system. So if you can get that in there in a group format, Bob's your uncle, as they say, then you can invite more people and work with them at the same time. So you could have 5 or 6 one-on-one clients, and you could invite every one of those clients into your group program. And I hear you already. This is where the self-sabotage part comes in. I call that voice Bob Baraccio, Bob the drunk guy. Don't listen to him, okay? He's drunk. This Bob guy is just full of all the hype and the conditioning that you're hearing out there in the world of marketing and coaching, right? It's BS. So this Bob guy is going to tell you, oh, you can't take all your one-on-one clients and put them into a group course because group is not as good as one-on-one, right? And how can you suddenly get them from one-on-one into group? Well, when it's not about the container, okay? It's like having a pizza. You could have the best pizza in the world. That's your signature offer. That's your signature system. But the container is just whether you decide to put it on a plate or in a box or in a blue box or a red box, right? It's the same thing with one-on-one versus groups or hybrid. People pay for results, not for the container. Nobody's paying through coaching. Nobody's paying for how many calls they get. Nobody's paying for whether it's a group or not a group. So when you're able to message things and really focus on the results that you give people, really focus on who you're speaking to, your audience, right? I speak to coaches, I speak to healers, I speak to service-based entrepreneurs, transformation experts, yoga teachers, creatives, right? Speak directly to that audience. Be very clear on what your signature system is, and be very clear on what the result is that they will get. The result for my clients is always the same thing: creating income and creating clients without doing a ton of marketing, without having your head stuck in a computer. Nobody that works with me wants to do that. Everybody that works with me just wants to help people, right? They want to shine their brilliance. And by doing that, you will glow more, right? So that's the cool thing about it. So know who your audience is and know what their biggest result is. And when you can share with them, well, I've got this other program. So I just had a client who just invited 4 of her one-on-one clients over to her brand new group program, which she's running live the first time round, but then she's actually going to turn it into an evergreen program. And that brings me to my second point. Having an evergreen group program or a hybrid program. So hybrid means you could have some one-on-one as well. So they might have, for example, 3 or 4 calls per month. I like to do 3 calls per month because I take 1 week off every month. Yes, you can do that, right? You can have your business structured whichever way you like. I have another client in Africa, in the Seychelles, and she used to live in Africa, and her children are in the French school system where they're off for 2 weeks every month. I think it is 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, something like that. So she takes that time off with her children, and so you can actually structure your business how you like it. You can take 1 week off every month. You can take Christmas holidays. You can take summer holidays. And that is really up to you. And as long as you're getting your clients the results. So we then turned her course from, a live course where she's running it with all of the people and then she records it. And then she's turning it into a evergreen course. So an evergreen course simply means that people can join anytime they like. So when you've got an evergreen course, and especially, for example, if that's a lower priced course or a stepstone to your main course, that's a great way to get people in the door. And they can come at any time, right? They can join at any time. So you have a constant stream of clients that can join you at any time on a group. And you might even be able to take on quite a lot of people. Some groups you can take on maybe 18 people, 20 people. Really just depends on how you work with people, right? But the important thing is we don't emphasize, we're not going to call somebody up and say, hey, I'm going to switch you from your one-on-one course to a group course. Of course, nobody's going to want to buy that, right? Nobody's going to want to do that. So it's really about looking at the results. And as a matter of fact, we can actually make the results better as a group because there's support, there's community support, there's peer support. One of the group programs I've run recently, we had, and I'll be running it again from September, it's the Coaching Academy, my Divitude Coaching Academy. Coaching with Divitude Academy, it's called specifically. And we do 3 weeks of the month on a group call where I'm there, I'm present. And every 4th week is peer support. So my clients actually coach each other. And you don't need to be a coach to do that. So if your clients are not coaches, they can have peer support. And that's worked really, really well. So I get the week off, but my clients continue to help each other. And as a result of that, after their 8 months in the coaching academy, they are still working together. They are still able to support each other. So they're not relying on a coach. They're still able to, They're still able to get the results. They're still able to have the support, the accountability, even when their coach is not actually there. So the way you set things up facilitates not only the results for the clients because you want to make an impact on them, but your lifestyle so that you can spend your summers off at any other time off that you want to and working on your glow, all right, on your pleasures. So the other thing that's really helpful to leverage time is shorter term engagements. So you might just do, it could be online or face to face. You might just do an intensive. I often do 2 90-minute calls. For example, I have something called the pleasure process. I'm going to get into that a little bit more on one of the other trainings this week. And the pleasure process is 2 90-minute calls. And it's, and it's a pleasure plan, and it gives them an actual plan that they can go away with. And they can decide if they want to come back to me and have me help them implement it. But it's something that's really, that gets them really clear on what it is they need to do in their business. So usually it's a good place to start with. If you're working with people long term, usually you'll probably notice that there's some things that you do in your business, in your courses with people at the very start that you do for everybody, right? Most people will do an inquiry. They'll ask a lot of questions about somebody and they might set a plan or some goals as to what they're going to do next. That could be an intensive. That could be 2 90-minute calls or 1 90-minute call or 2 60-minute calls, or it could even be something face-to-face, right? So short-term engagements are really, really great way to, spend less time with people, but give them maximum impact. So that, of course, you always want to send them away with something, that they get a result. It might not be the long-term thing, right, of your full signature program, but it's going to give them a result, okay? Now, here's a really important thing, right? That is pricing your offers. I've said this a million times before, and I'm going to say it again. High ticket is the way to go. I am an absolute advocate of the high ticket coaching model, the high ticket fee model, okay? And I've been doing it for about 8 years. I used to do low ticket, and I used to have about 12 or 15 clients at a time, and I was burnt out. It was very tiring. I would do groups and I would charge less for groups, right? But again, we're talking about the results, not the container. It's still the best pizza in the world we're offering here. It doesn't matter if it comes in a box or on a plate, all right? So having that signature offer, having that signature system within all of your offers means that you could have a group container, you can have a one-on-one container. It can be a short-term container, a long-term container, it can be a face-to-face container, but pretty much your offers are all around the same. So when I talk high ticket, I'm talking about 3,000 plus, whether that's euros or dollars or pounds or whatever you're in. I think it's all kind of the same at the moment because of inflation or whatever. But high ticket, you know, it takes as much energy and effort to go out and find 2 clients as it does to go out and find, you know, a high ticket as it does to go out and find 2 clients at low ticket. The price does not change whether people want to work with you or not. Because when you glow, when your vibe is there, when you've got something really good to offer people, when you're very clear on your messaging, that is what's attractive to people. When they see that you're talking about the same thing over and over again, and do not be afraid to do that. When you're bringing your essence, when you're bringing your core values, your ethos, your signature system into every message that you bring to social media or to wherever you're showing up, and people see you as an expert in your field, people are willing to pay you your value, right? And actually, very often, if you're charging low ticket, it devalues you, right? So how much to charge is really up to what you're feeling good with for where your mindset is right now. So I always say charge what you feel comfortable with. You don't want to be, you know, you have to see the value in it. As long as you see the value in what you charge, that is the most important thing. But also make sure that you're taking care of your bills. Like, do your calculations. I have a spreadsheet called Pricing for Profit. I give it to all of my clients. And they fill it in and they put every single expense for their business, for their life, everything in there. No stone is left unturned. And, you know, they total it all up and they see how many clients they can see very comfortably without sacrificing their well-being, without sacrificing their time and their need to create their Diva Glow and be in pleasure. And then we actually divide the amount of clients per year into that amount that they need to earn. We add buffers on for extra expenses that are, you know, that we don't expect. And that's how we work out the pricing. And that's the minimum amount that you can charge, because if you charge any less than that, you will be in cash flow issues. You will be broke. You will not have enough money. You know, like, you cannot run a business if you're not earning enough money. If your business is your only source of income, you can't run a business when you keep giving discounts and you're not actually doing the calculations. It's okay if you want to give discounts, but only do it if you're meeting your minimum requirements. And of course, you have to make sure that what you're offering is of that value. You need to believe in that. That's all that needs to happen. When you believe in that, your clients will believe in that too. So do charge enough. Don't, you know, and don't just pick out random prices out of the top of your head. Like, just, you know, really calculate it well, okay? The other thing as well about charging high ticket is that when you have more abundance and money in the bank, you have more energy and more attention to give to your clients, and that makes a bigger impact. And when you do that, this is the kind of thing, again, where we're cutting down on the marketing and the sales and all the time spent on that. Like, when my clients come to me, one of the first things I do with them is the Diva Declutter. I do it in my Diva Pleasure Plan. I do it in my one-on-one program, the Diva Glow, which is a 3-month program. And the first thing we do is the Diva Declutter. And we look at how they can make a bigger impact on their clients, and also how their glow and the energy that they bring to their clients when they're not, like, overextending themselves and seeing so many clients and working so hard, how that brings people back to them time and time again. Most of my clients are long-term clients. They've stayed with me for years. They go away for a while and they come back again. I've had one client for 6 years, and it's not because she doesn't get results. It's because she gets the results, and then I continue to evolve, and I've got the next thing for her because I'm evolving, right? And that's another thing. Don't just stick with the one thing forever. Allow yourself to evolve. Be creative. When you see, when a client finishes a program with you, do a review with them. Check in with them, what they need next. And if you can help them with that, then help them with that. It can be maintenance, but it can also be the next level, right? So they come back time and time again. And then they go out into the world and the people around them notice something about them. They notice a change in them. And that's where you get referrals. You get people coming to you from the clients because you've made such a big impact. And for most coaches, the impact very often isn't just about the specific thing that you're supposed to be working with them on. You might be a marriage coach or a relationship coach or a sex coach or a yoga teacher or a weight loss coach or a wellness coach or a business coach. But, even a singing coach. I used to be a singing coach. But people, even when I was teaching singing, would stand up at the end of a class and say, "You've changed my life." I had one man stand up and say, I now have a girlfriend. I've lost weight. I have a social life. I'm making more money. I got a better job. All because he came to a singing class. And that was many, many years ago. And I remember thinking, whoa. And I saw something in that. And that's what happens when you're really there for your clients. When you charge higher prices and you're being taken care of and you've got abundance in your bank account and you're not waking up every day worrying about where the next rent is coming from, right? You can really be present for your clients. You can show up in a way that is so present that your presence alone, that your energy alone can make an impact before you even do anything, before you even add your expertise to it. So that's another reason you don't need to overgive. You don't need to keep adding things into your programs more. That can actually, do the opposite in a lot of cases. So simply being present for people, there's a lot to be said for that. There's not many people that can be so present. So don't even start coaching. In my coaching academy, we talk about this. Don't even start coaching until you've got people present, all right? So I think, the last part, we've got one last part, and then I think I'm going to wrap up for today because we've definitely done quite a long one here today. 47 minutes. So I usually like to keep things to about 45 minutes. So the last part is keep telling people about your offers, right? If you start to sweat at the ideas of doing live streams or writing tons of fancy copy or anything like that, don't fear, okay? So what you can do is you can, during the summer, while you're taking your time off, is you can, I've got another piece for you. I've forgotten actually. I've got to bring you down as well before I leave. You can literally just take reels with your kids while you're on the beach, or take a travel blog as you're going around doing your things. Just share what your life is, but bring it back to this signature offer every time. Because here's the thing, as a coach, as a service provider, you are the product, right? And when you're vibing high, when you've got the diva glow or the Devo glow, right? And you're just living your life, that's what people want. It's not that they want, okay, yes, there's going to be things like if you're a weight loss coach or something like that, of course they're going to want, I'm slim, or I now love my body the way it is, or whatever it might be. Like, bring that into it, but share your life. Like, don't just share, it doesn't have to be always something very structured and very specific to your business. Those things can come sometimes too. Like, this is more structured today, and I don't do this very often. Most of the time, I'm just sharing my life. And then I get people coming to me and saying, "Oh my God, I just love to be free like you. I'd love to have all that free time." And like, you're a single mom and you still make enough money to live, more than enough money to live, in an abundance of money, right? And you get to live this beautiful millionaire's lifestyle. How do you do it? Like, you work 1 day a week, right? And I was like, I prioritize pleasure. That is the most important thing to me, right? And when I do that, that's when I glow, and that's when people just come to me out of the woodwork. So every time I show up, which is very little actually, it's just easy. And so I share my life. I share me. I share Friday nights out, right? I share me sunbathing on the beach, telling everybody that my only objective this summer is to get a tan bottom, right? And that's just me. And I flirt with people, and I'm just flirty, and I'm just being me. So just be you. And that you can do as you're going about your life. You do not need to sit in front of a computer. And then keep telling people about your offers. So as you're doing that, let them know, well, if you want this, there's a way that you can have this through working with me, and these are the offers. And don't be afraid to share and share and share and share all the time. Keep on sharing your offers all the time. Do not be afraid of that. People are passing through on social media. They need to be told many, many, many times. They might not see it. It might not sink in. It might not be the right time. You are not harassing people. You are not annoying people by doing that. In fact, what you're actually doing is you are saving lives. This is what we do. We are not selling. We are saving lives. That is what we do as coaches, as healers, as service providers. We change people's lives. We save lives. So all you're doing is you're giving them an invitation that they can take or leave, right? The very last thing I want to share with you is how, this is actually the most important part. So I'm glad I remembered this because I skipped over it. I wanted to do it in a different order than I'd written it down. So the very last part that I would like to share with you is payment in advance, how you can actually get money coming in. So for example, I have a coaching academy that I run for 8 months every year, and I run that in accordance with the school term, okay? So it goes from September to June, and to May, right? So that I can take the time off for my daughter. I take the Easter holidays, the Christmas holidays. I run it only in the time that she's in school or with her father or whatever, right? So I have the whole structure of that Coaching with Divitude Academy worked out. And what I do is I do like an early bird. So I offer an early bird until the 30th of June with quite a substantial discount so that people can enroll and they can get it at a much cheaper price and start in September, right? And so in that way, and I usually take 8 people on, in that way I'll get some people, if not all people, paying in advance. It's for pay in full, and they pay in advance by June. So all the money is in the bank already by June, right? And I don't start to work until September. Now that I've done for the last couple of years, and that has definitely been a great way to be able to take summers off, right? But this year I've decided, because the travel is open and everything, and I'd like to actually work with people face to face again, I've actually decided to also offer a VIP retreat. So this is also something that you could do, right? So consider a VIP retreat. Now a VIP retreat is different from a group retreat. Group retreats are great if you like doing those kind of things, but they're usually a lot of hard work because you've got to try and find a venue, and then you've got to try and make sure that you get a bunch of people all at the same time arriving. But a VIP retreat, so for example, I bring people to where I live. Now, you might live in a beautiful location where people would like to come. It doesn't have to be a beautiful location. Or you might want to travel somewhere. So if you're the person who likes to travel for the summer, maybe you want to go somewhere and you could let people know, I'm going to be in this location this time, that location this time. I'll be in the United States in June, and I'll be in Germany in July, and I'll be in Thailand in August. If you would like to come and have a VIP retreat with me. So I just do one per month in the summer, and I do it for 2 days, and I do it where I live because that's what works best for me, because my daughter spends some weekends with her father or weekdays with her father, and then I can host people here, and then I make it really VIP. We get them picked up from the airport. They come in and stay in a beautiful boutique hotel. I've been sharing a lot about it on here recently, the Avanti Lifestyle Hotel. And then I do it really easy. They come into my lifestyle. We sit on the beach and coach, or we go for a nice dinner or a lunch and we coach, or we sit watching the ocean, sipping cappuccinos or cocktails or whatever while we're coaching. And that is a high ticket offer. So people come here and they get this absolute devotion, right? Dedication to just them, this whole VIP experience. And, you know, I kind of feel like I'm on a holiday at the same time too, or on a vacation, right? So that is an amazing way that you can still have your summer holiday, but work with clients and create an income where it doesn't feel like working, okay? And then the last thing that I have here for you, and that I've also put up for this summer as well, is just consider an easy summer offer that you enjoy. Something very easy for you to do. So, for example, my 3 month Diva Glow program is a one on one program, and I just see people for it's so that I can support women over summer, right? So some women, because some of my clients, like I have one lady on it at the moment, you know, she's come through this process where she's just created a group program and she needs a little support going forward. So I see her at the moment for 2 calls per month. Sometimes I see people for 3 calls a month. Sometimes it's just 1 call a month. So you can have like a maintenance kind of thing going on. I usually offer sort of text message or WhatsApp support in between, so I can do that in my own time. And that's just a very easy offer. And I'll usually only do it for 1 or 2 people, maybe 3 people maximum. And you know, really all you're doing then is having like, you know, 3-4 calls a month over the entire summer, and a little bit of text messaging in between. Again, a high ticket offer, right? So you're bringing money in, payment up front most of the time. I mean, you can do payment plans if you want to. There's a specific way to do that though. That's really important for your cash flow. You don't want to get into cash flow problems, because you don't want to end up working with people for free and then being stressed out and not having any money over the summer, right? You want to make sure the money is there for you so you can enjoy your summer. Abundance is something that a diva has. Remember, it's DIVA, abundance, right? So that's all I have for you today. And I would love to do another training sometime this week. So tell me in the comments if you would like that, and I will. I'll only do it if you're interested. And what I would like to do is go through a little bit on my pleasure process, where we can look at what lights you up and what's at the core of what lights you up. Because I know that a lot of people are, you know, really scared to throw away a lot of the work they're doing, the work that they feel is the thing that's bringing all of the people to them, right? All of the marketing, the sitting in front of the computer, all of the trainings, all of the webinars, all of the copywriting, all of the fancy photographs on websites and technology and everything, right? Because we think that that's the thing that will bring it to us. I worked as a singer for 23 years and I never had a website. I never had social media. I never had to have any of those things, and yet I was booked out constantly, right? And yes, I was a great singer, I still am, okay? And I'm still very good at coaching. But you here watching this today, you are also a great coach, a great service provider, a great teacher, right? A great facilitator. And if you believe that you are, then that is enough. You do not need to go out there and be super, 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 hey, buy from me and watch me and da, right? Like, there's so many people out there doing that, and it's so noisy. Nobody can hear us. But when you get to people at a different level, through your soul level, we really connect to people in a different way. People feel us. It's a quieter way, right? And that quietness comes from the inside out. It comes from you being in your pleasures, because pleasures keep you present, that your mind is slowed down, that there's space, that you get divinely inspired ideas, that you get fresh thinking, fresh ideas. Those ideas come directly from the creative life force, right? Those are the things that you will be supported by life. You will be supported by energy to create what it is that's lighting you up in every moment. So we're going to look at this pleasure process on the next call. We're going to look at the Diva Glow, or maybe 2 calls. I'll see how many we need. And I'm going to also share with you the one habit that I created in the last 8 years that I also share with my clients that will completely change your life, right? And it's going to do away with all the mindset stuff, all the inner work, all the therapy, all the shadow work, all the journaling. Those things are nice and they're helpful and they're fun, and you can do all of those things as well if you want, but they become completely optional. So you end up that you don't have to do tons of marketing, you don't have to do tons of sales, you don't have to do tons of copywriting, and you also don't have to do tons of inner work. You just get to live your life, have your summer, do your traveling, go to the beach, be with your kids, whatever you want to do, and allow your glow to do all the work for you. So if you'd like this training or a couple of trainings on this, let me know. And also feel free to send me a DM because I've got special offers and early birds on all of the programs that I mentioned here today. You can look in the link in my bio in my Instagram to see more details on each program. I've got 50% off until the end of June for the coaching academy, and I also have 50% off. Sorry, that's a lie. I have 50% off my Diva experience, which is the VIP one-on-one retreats that I'm hosting here in Fuerteventura. I host one Diva or Devo per month, so that's one for June, one July, and one August. 50% off that, which is huge right now until the 15th of June. And I've got discounts on, quite substantial discounts on for my Diva Tude Academy, the coaching academy, starting in September until the end of June. And I currently have 2 spaces available for one-on-one coaching for my Diva Glow program. Is that it? I also have a pleasure plan. So have a look in the link in the bio because there's a ton of stuff in there. I'll put the link here in the Facebook group as well so that you can see everything. There's a PDF for some kind of letter for each of them with all of the details, or feel free just to DM me and we can set up a chat, a call if you wish to speak about those. But I've got very limited offers because, as I say, I don't do a lot over the summer, so I don't see a lot of people. I take on like maximum 8 clients, even 6 clients at a time. So yeah, so do contact me and I'll look forward to seeing you. Have a great day. Bye.